shook, you guys. I'm loving this coverage.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny. So in today's video, I will be doing a first impression and review on the new LA Girl Pro Matte Foundation. It's this glass bottle that I've got right here. And I was very hesitant to get this foundation because I normally don't go for matte foundations because I do have a combination skin type. So what that means for me is that I am very dry around my face, especially around my chin and forehead sometimes, but I tend to get oily on my T-zone. So for me, it's a little bit easier to go for more glowy, more hydrating, or luminous foundations because they work perfect with my skin type, and I normally just use a modifying primer around my T-zone, and that normally does the trick for me. So I was very interested to try this foundation because I do like the look of a matte foundation, but they normally tend to get very drying on my skin that is just not comfortable. So that's the reason why. So I guess we'll see how this foundation works with my skin type, but if you want to see my review and my first impression on this foundation, please keep on watching. So I picked up the shade Light Tan. I had originally ordered, I think it was Sand, and it was definitely too dark for my skin type, and that's one thing that I struggle with LA Girl, because if you go to your Ulta store, they don't have a test sample in which you can color match yourself, so you basically just have to guess, and the bottle outside might be a little misguiding because the other shade that I had picked looked like a shade that I will wear, but it didn't work out, so I ended up getting a couple shades lighter. So this one is Light Tan, so hopefully it matches my skin tone. For application, I do have to say that I literally always use a beauty sponge to apply my foundation, just because I feel that, I mean, we all know beauty sponges are so great on the skin, so it just makes everything apply flawless. But for the sake of this video, because I don't wanna, misjudge the foundation based on the tool that I apply it with, I am gonna do this side of the face with a beauty sponge, and I am gonna do this side of my face with a foundation brush. So we'll see how that applies. So I'm just gonna get a couple pumps of this. Actually, one pump is not a lot, so I'm gonna put a few pumps. I'm starting with the side in which I'm applying it with a beauty sponge, and I think it's gonna be a good match for me. Yeah, it actually looks good. So far, I like that it doesn't have any smell. It has like a scent, but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't feel strong. Now, coverage wise, I can see how it covered up a lot. However, I can still see some of my imperfections, like I have some veins peeking through. But so far, I like the coverage because I don't mind medium coverage, because I can go back to spot conceal any areas where I feel or I want more coverage. So far you can see how I have applied one layer of the foundation on this side of my skin, and I don't have any foundations on this side, so you can see how beautiful my skin looks. I don't think it's a fully matte foundation. Maybe as it dries down, it might become a little bit more matte, but so far I think it's like a semi-matte, which is something that I actually prefer. I do have to say that I put a few pumps on the back of my hand and I don't have anything left, and I've only done one side of my face, so I can see how you probably have to apply a lot more product with this foundation than at least other foundations I've tried before. So now for the brush side, I'm just using a Kabuki brush from Sigma. This is the F80. I haven't used this brush in a very long time, so we'll see. I don't know if you can tell, but I can see so far that it does give you a lot more coverage with the brush than with the sponge. Obviously, I still haven't blended out completely, but for some reason this side looks a little bit more coverage than on the one that I use, than on the side that I use the beauty sponge. Well, I can tell so far that the side in which I applied it with the brush, it does have more coverage than the one I use the beauty sponge. But at the same time, it is a little bit more drying on this side than on the side that I use the beauty sponge, which honestly makes sense because, you know, the beauty sponge is a little bit damp. So right now, I've only applied one layer in both sides, and I can tell you that I'm pleased with the coverage, but I can see how I still see some of my imperfections peeking through. So I am gonna apply a second layer, but what I do want to comment on is that for being a matte foundation, it feels great on my skin. Normally by now with other matte foundations, I feel like my skin is just trapped, or like it feels tight when you apply a matte foundation, because like I said, you know, when you have dry skin, it's not the most comfortable to wear. But I am very pleased with how it feels on my skin. It literally feels like I'm not wearing foundation. So I'm liking that very much. So let me apply a second layer just to see how well it builds up on the skin. And once again, I'm starting with the beauty blender side. This is not the beauty blender, I mean the beauty sponge. You know what I mean. So it does build up nicely. With the second layer, my imperfections right here are pretty much not noticeable, and I still have to go in with concealer so that anything that I want to fix in this area, you know, any dark circles, will get concealed with my concealer. But I do like the finish. Yeah, I think 2 layers, it's perfect for me. Let me apply the second layer on the other side. And once again, I'm using kabuki brush. You for sure get a lot more coverage with a makeup brush as opposed to using a beauty sponge. Which, if you think about it, it makes sense because the beauty sponge takes up or might absorb a lot of the product. Yeah, 2 layers is definitely perfect for me. Okay, so now that I applied the 2 layers, I am really shook, you guys. This finish is beautiful. It is matte, but like I said, it's like semi-matte. It's not fully matte. But this foundation definitely applies really well with a makeup brush or with a beauty sponge. I guess it just comes down to preference. And if you wanna get a little bit more coverage, I would probably recommend it to apply it with a makeup brush. But yeah, that's just a matter of preference. But when it comes to the actual foundation finish and the way it feels on the skin, it feels beautiful. I'm really pleased with the way how it looks on my skin. Let me stop rambling and let me use my concealer and finish the rest of my face, and then I'll be back with my final thoughts. Okay guys, so I completed the rest of my face, and now let's talk about the foundation. So I can tell you that I'm very, very pleased and impressed with this foundation, and let me explain you my reasons. The coverage, as you saw, it is for sure medium to full coverage. I did do 2 layers of the foundation, and that was honestly perfect for me. If you have more problematic areas than I do, maybe you might need another layer, or you can simply apply it with a makeup brush, because I did feel that with the makeup brush it did a little bit more coverage than as opposed to you applying it with the beauty sponge. But for me, 2 layers was perfect, and then obviously once I went in with my concealer, anything else that I wanted to cover up, it was fixed. So when it comes to coverage, I think it's amazing. Now, the finish. It is supposed to be a matte foundation, but in my opinion, it's actually like a semi-matte. It's not fully flat matte. And that's something that I actually love about it, because I don't really like to have a complete flat matte face, especially because I love to have my highlighter and I love to have some shine on my skin, obviously with reasonable, amount. But I love the finish of the foundation. It's definitely very, very pretty. And third, the way how it feels on my skin, it feels really comfortable. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't normally go for matte foundations because I don't like how they feel on my skin. At least the ones that I have tried make my skin feel like my skin is strapped and I can't really move, or I'll either get patchy spots, or it will feel just dry in general on my skin. But this foundation feels so comfortable. I really don't feel like I'm wearing a lot of makeup, even though I might, but I don't feel like I'm wearing a lot of makeup. So, and lastly, the price. We can't forget about the price, because depending where you get it, it's for sure less or $10. So for the price, and I mean, what else do you want? $10 or less for a foundation that it's amazing on your skin. I think that's a steal. So if you still want to get your hands on it, I say you should go for it. It's definitely a really, really nice foundation. So I would definitely recommend it. I mean, like I'm telling you, I love how it feels. I really love this foundation. And I try, where is it? Oh, here it is. I have their other coverage, that illuminating foundation. And if you ask me, comparing both side to side, I will pick the Pro Matte one. Just because even though it's matte, it feels a lot better on the skin. Like I tried the LA Girl illuminating foundation before, and I love it. I really like it, don't get me wrong, but it is very dewy, and I don't know, for some reason this one, it just feels really, really nice. And that's really crazy for me to say, like I said, because I normally don't go for matte foundations, but I definitely will recommend it. It's a really, really, really great foundation. So those are my thoughts that I have so far. I'll probably do an update at the end of my day. So really quick, I just wanted to give you a final check-in. I'm about to remove my makeup, and I thought why not to show you how the foundation has held throughout the day. I haven't worn it throughout the entire day, but I have had it on for at least 7 hours right now, and I think that's enough for me. But I just wanted to show you how honestly my whole complexion looks really pretty still. And what I am really shocked about is that, let me zoom you in a little bit. I normally tend to get really oily in my T-zone, as I mentioned to you earlier, and I don't see that with this foundation. If you look at my forehead and also in my nose, I have barely any oil peeking through, and that normally doesn't happen with any foundation. I always have to blot my face a little bit or just apply a little bit of powder, and I haven't done that at all with this foundation. And it probably does have to do with the fact that it is a matte foundation, but I am definitely loving that. And as I said earlier, I just love the finish of the foundation so much. It feels so comfortable, and yeah, I don't know what else to say, but I just thought I would check with you really quick. Everything looks really nice. Oh, one thing though, I did notice that it settled a little bit around my smile lines right here, but I just literally went with my finger and dabbed it a little bit. But I don't think that's like the foundation's fault either, because it happens quite often too. I just have really pronounced smile lines. But yeah, other than that, I am really, really loving it. So but yeah, that concludes this video. I really hope you enjoy watching it and that you enjoy my first impression and review on the LA Girl Pro Matte Foundation. And if you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Those things really help me a lot, and I really hope that you become part of this family that we have here. And now with the whole YouTube not really showing people's videos even though you're subscribed, it will really help if you hit the notification bell, so that way if you really like my content, you don't miss any of my future videos. But with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.